The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook.
Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gaz, an orc barbarian in search of adventure.
I'm Konnor Shenold. I play Konnor with a K, a Kobold Sorcerer who is a continuous thorn in the Empire's side.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play the half-elf roguish warlock Zonimus Dinar, who's going to take back everything he's ever lost.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a halfling druid who is determined to protect the frontier from the might of the Empire.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Mockerin Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer finding his true family as revealed by the secrets of the frontier.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Callben Frontier. Commander Wallhammer, leader of the dwarves of Fort Rushing Water, has brought you to meet her problem. The dwarves are attempting to do something that doesn't sit quite right with many of the peoples of the Callban. They are trying to build a dam along the Great Mother River in an attempt to harness its power. Apparently, standing in their way, striking them without warning, without mercy, the Ghost Elves of Dark Canyon. You have met one of these Ghost Elves that had been captured by the dwarves, a warrior by the name of Kotori. As you attempt to interrogate this warrior, Zonimus, you seem to have earned his trust, and taking a gamble, trusting him in turn, you allow him to attack you in order to fool the commander that he has escaped of his own accord. As you're kind of lying on the warm earth, listening, you hear the gunshots, you hear the chaos, the screams of the commander. Get him before he goes! And then you hear the splash of a body hitting water, and you know he has escaped. What are the rest of you doing?
I rush into the tent, because I was just on the outside of the tent.
I look in and I say, Poppy, don't heal him. And I peek my head out and I whistle for my horse. As he comes over, I grab a healer's kit out of my bags and I go over and I tend to your wounds and stop the bleeding, make sure that you're okay. I don't want them to know about you.
Okay.
I kind of whisper, it stings so bad in Orcish.
I know, my friend, but we will take care of you, but we don't want to give it away. We want them to see you wounded and hurt, but we will take care of you.
I heard the splash.
He got away. And I turn over to Poppy and I say, Poppy, go tell the others that he's been wounded.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but sure, okay.
Well, you pop the tent back open.
Zonimus has been wounded!
What?
The dark one must have stabbed at him before he escaped and ran away.
He got loose.
Of course he got loose. You saw him run away.
I look over to Zonimus and again in Orc I say, can you move?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't want to.
Let's take you outside. We need to show you off. And I help him up and we walk out.
One arm of Zonimus is like around your shoulders and like you've kind of got him. The commander and Mordecai do come over. You know, Mordecai being a cleric comes over to your other side, checks you over. Oh no, this is bad.
He
got you good.
Unexpected.
Mordecai, my friend, can you heal him?
Yes, we will. Let's get him back to the fort.
Could we do it here? We should stay here. We should not head back to the fort. We should be here to defend the dam. That is what we have come to do, is it not?
Yes.
Then we should stay.
Oh, okay. The commander kind of comes over. You let him get away.
Commander, he let himself be captured. He now knows more about this place than any of them knew before, and he's taking all that information back. I did not let him get away. However, I know exactly how to find him.
Give me a deception.
Oh, I'm going to need to give you a lot of this. Just wait. Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, man, why is my deception so low? Oh, God, Hey, DM, can I give you a fate chip that you award us for good role-playing so that I can re-roll that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Yay! 25.
25.
3 fate chips.
All right.
I hope I don't die. So as you're asking for that deception roll, I was saying I know how to find him. When he blinked, when he shifted, whatever he did, and popped out of those manacles, and next thing I know, he had my dagger in his hand. I saw him with it when he ran off. And that dagger is attuned to me. I know which way he went. I can find my dagger. You let me and my friends go recover him. This is going to buy you time, because instead of them coming here, they're going to be waiting for us to go to them.
24 hours. That's all you get.
That's all we need.
Then we are off.
All right, so you mount up.
I'm going to give the most knowing of glances that I can to the marshal. I'm going to show the badge again, kind of run my thumb over it.
Takes a drag off that cigarette and just gives you a nod. She flicks a little more of the ash off. You notice she didn't move this entire time. She's starting to put 2 and 5 together. The canyon downstream. So you guys, if you follow the river, will eventually hit the canyon.
I do want to get to a spot where we can stop and regroup and talk, and it's like, okay, here's the lie, here's the truth, here's the deception, and get everybody on the same page.
Right.
Yeah.
We can do that as we ride, I think, also. But I do want to say, right up to Zonibus, I say, Zonibus, you must know, I wouldn't put my complete trust in Walker. Maybe Mordecai, but not Eve Walker.
Well, based on the conversation we were having earlier, it seems like she's aware of the situation, and maybe I can trust her regarding that.
I think in some ways, she will, if in a battle, have your back. But whether or not her ideals align with ours, that is another thing altogether.
Well, with all due respect, I'm unaware that there's any money in this for her.
Except for the fact that her employers, which tend to be the dwarves, would be hurt by this. Mordecai, I think you could trust him. Don't put your backing behind Marshal Eve Walker.
Good to know. So I told him, for what you missed in another language that we know, some ghost elves. I told him that the dwarves have no idea who they're messing with, and that this is going to end very poorly and lots of bloodshed, and the dwarves won't hear it or have any of it. So I have asked for audience with their leader, the matron, in hopes that some wisdom and serenity can help us find a resolution. And then I let him go and told him to be watching for us coming, so don't be alarmed.
It was very brave of you. He could have actually slit your throat.
He could have. I did put a lot of trust in him.
Seems to me, as we've talked, your fallen friend would be proud of you.
Maybe so. Probably need a few more acts of bravery to get that, though.
I think you will have that opportunity, young Zonibus.
He'd have liked you.
I think I would have liked him too.
He wasn't as good looking as you are.
Very few are.
It's the hair.
It is my awesome hair. I got that from my mother's.
You know, when I kind of stick my chin out at him, the bulkiness of it, the orc part, I understand.
A rugged, good jaw.
Yes.
Always important.
All right, we need to cross this river, because they're on the other side of it, right?
Or are they just down the river?
We know, or is there any way we can track them?
Keep following the trail.
Or hopefully,
Yeah, with what?
I'm hoping they find us.
Seems to probably be the thing with the ghost elves, is that you usually don't find them, they find you.
What time of day is this?
It's about midday when you all start setting out.
And basically it's going to start cutting into the ground, and then the canyon is going to be...
Eventually you get that whole, the river is flowing, and this area is much more rockier, and you are starting to get more of that cut in of go, cliff.
Other than the marshal, I didn't really see anyone there who looked like they could pull off a lot of tactical stealthing. Just paranoia of being followed.
Maybe Eve and Mordecai would probably be capable. We have 24 hours. I believe they'll honor that.
Yeah. All right. Man, you cooked that food. We didn't even eat it. Let's stop and eat.
Since I can stop and sit on the ground for 1 minute, part of this sure is part of this spell, but also we're gonna add a little spice, right? The spell I'm looking at here is Commune with Nature, which I can ritual cast. So I instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they relate to the area. I don't super need these, but here's essentially what I'm trying to do. I don't talk with She Who Weeps the way that Gideon talked to Dogga, so this is my way of being like, Sky Mommy, what is your desire? I bet that she obviously doesn't want her river diverted, but I'm hoping maybe she'll give me like a little kick, like, You're going the right way, bud. Proud of you.
Right, you're doing the right thing. This is what I want you to do.
Exactly. Or if there is something else. But according to my list of things I can find out about, let's look at terrain and bodies of water.
Okay.
And then powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, and influence from other planes of existence.
So, in your communion with the natures, pain of change, pain of someone is trying to fight the natural order of things. Someone is trying to change the landscape when it had already been shaped and changed. You're not working with me, you're fighting me. The people of this area, they're fighting me, they're not working with me. That's kind of the feeling you get, is that definitely nature itself, and potentially, She Who Weeps herself, is not really pleased with what the dwarves are trying to do. So it seems as if the ghost elves are indeed, attacking and continuing to keep this dam from being built. They are kind of working in accordance with her will. So it's a question of, are you going to find a way to defend? Are you going to find a way to, work with? Because that's the thing, is that the ghost elves work with the land, not against it.
I was hoping she would kind of give me like a, hey, you should do this. But that's not how this goddess works.
She lets you make your own choice.
What about celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead? And other planes of existence?
Not really.
Okay, good news, guys. Fortunato's not in the area. Also, I don't think that there's one of them Dominion portals around in this area. So we got that going on for us.
Not within 300 feet.
Well, if I'm just in the outdoors, it's 3 miles. If I'm in a cave, does a canyon count as a cave?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry, never mind. I just saw the 300 feet. Yeah, no, not within 3 miles.
Yeah, so Fortunato is a minimum of 3 miles away. So there's that. And She Who Weeps is on our side. So, I feel like that was obvious, but I thought it'd be nice to, double check.
Oh, good. We have another one on our side.
I squint at you suspiciously.
I ate a drumstick.
Also, am I hiding? It seems like, is that just a them thing, or is that an everybody thing? And I kind of look between Zonimus and Gaz.
Yeah, what did you mean back there when you said you don't want them to know about her?
Mostly I wanted them to be able to see you and not have your wounds healed when we walk out of the tent. But if we can always keep our powers to ourselves as much as possible, leave the enemy guessing as to who we are and how powerful we are. I'm pretty sure they look upon you, Mokrin, as just another dwarf with no power.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And wouldn't you rather it be that way for as long as possible?
I don't know, it's kind of nice sometimes when the Warhammer actually connects with stuff. I know whiff, but... Oh, I see what you're saying, yes. Deception.
Element of surprise, I think, is more of the idea here.
Right.
So, Artemis, you just let him cut you like that?
I really thought it'd just be one quick poke, but... boy, he really wanted to make it convincing.
Anyway, so when we get there...
Yeah, Margaret had a great question. Let's come up with a plan.
His friends live here, I think, was the kind of...
I do know if they made it back to the canyon, then they are still here.
I think the bigger question is this. Right now, we're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to make enemies either side. Gaz, you're the only one that has any loyalties here. I have no loyalties to the dwarves of the fort. Mokrin, do you?
You don't have to answer that right now.
Gaz, is that a bridge you'd want to burn?
I have no problem burning that bridge. And I have a serious problem with what they are trying to do here. So, if it is a way to stop it, I have no problem with it.
I cast a knowing look at Makrin because I understand. The look between us is really like, I understand throwing everything you've ever known away is very hard. So you don't have to answer that right now.
But that look makes me think about what Poppy said when she came out of her commune. So, Poppy, you think, and Gaz, you think maybe the ghost elves, maybe they might have a solution? Somehow they're living out here with the Great Mother River. Is that anything we might be able to convince the dwarves to accept, to adopt, instead of doing it, instead of doing it the dwarven way? That's going to be hard for them.
How easy is it to convince a dwarf?
That's chipping at a steel door, my friend. Takes a long time.
Longer than we have.
They'd all be dead by then.
Unfortunately, I don't think this might not be a fight right now. This might just have to be, they're gonna just keep fighting at each other, but we helped one man, and sometimes it's all you can do, and hopefully this one man knows somebody else, and it sounds like he does, that maybe have helpful information to help us with our plan. And let's deal with the Empire, and then we'll come back and talk about the Dwarven Empire.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we can let the ghost elves know that the dwarves is just gonna keep coming. They'll stay there forever. But if we can find some way to work together, at least maybe plant seeds. I don't know.
It has been put in my ear that we could make really great allies in the fight against the Empire with the commander, but also probably with the elves too.
I think we've already built a bridge to the ghost elves in helping free Kotori.
And honestly, I'd rather be in bed, so to speak, with them.
If it came to defending the Caliban against this Empire, I don't believe the dwarves care as much as the ghost elves would.
And on a selfish note, I just need one person from Venturas to come check on this outpost, and I'm screwed.
Well, I'll tell you what, that sounds like that's been decided. The next question is, how do we expedite this? I think I see one or two choices, and we can put it to a vote if you want to. We just keep walking until it's time to go to sleep, and when we bed down for the night under the stars, they will take us, which is okay. Or maybe we send Poppy scouting ahead from the sky, looking for a place where lots of people could hide, and that's the direction we start walking, so that we walk right to them, to the scouts.
Well, I mean, see that giant canyon? We get to the walls of the canyon, then we're like, hey, this is our house, stay out of our house. And they'll be like, hi, we know your friend. That was what I thought we were going to do.
I was thinking they would find us as we were traveling there.
Okay.
So we just go there. We just travel along.
Walk that direction, go to sleep.
Or just keep going that way.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll find us.
All right. Well, let's do the best we can to make it not look like we stopped here.
Always leave it better than you found it. That's Druid 101.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. I'm Michael Cross. So great to have a moment to talk with you during this mid-show break. First off, I want to invite you all to join us as Patreon members. The money we raise helps us pay for things like the music and sound effects you hear on the show, as well as money to go to events and make new fans. When you become a Patreon member, you get our episodes 4 days early, bonus content, access to our Discord server, and full versions of our roundtable discussions. You'll be joining other fans like Scott Wise, Don Mills, Heath Mormon, and the Lady Kate. So join us right now at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Another way to support us is by getting your very own Red Dirt merchandise. You can find things like hats, hoodies, mugs, and t-shirts. Just click on the merch tab at reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Since 2020, the Red Dirt D&D podcast has been close to another Oklahoma actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast, D20 to Curtain. And me personally, I've had a chance to work on stage with some of the actors on the show. So when you get done with this episode, you should check them out.
Hello, fellow D&Ders. My name is Jerome.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Jody.
And together with our friends Kara, Timothy, and Jared, we are the cast of the D20 to Curtain podcast, where Oklahoma theater geeks and their friends hit record and explore our new addiction to Dungeons & Dragons.
We think D&D is more than just a game. It helps us tap into the enduring power of storytelling.
We combine live gameplay with behind-the-curtain episodes to share our experiences, insights, habits, discoveries, and passion for D&D with anyone who will listen.
We hope D20 to Curtain will make you laugh, cry, maybe even make your experience at your table even more satisfying. Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts or visit us at d20tocurtain.com or at D20tocurtain on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We look forward to having you. All we ask is that you have fun, be kind, and play the role.
If you're looking for more content, make sure to check out our YouTube page with Mysteries of Beatrix live every Wednesday. Keys from the Golden Vault from the Red Dirt Outlaws dropping every Tuesday at noon, and Plausible Deniability every other Thursday at 7 p.m. So come check it out at youtube.com/@RedDirtRPG or search for Red Dirt RPG on YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. Find us on social media at Red Dirt RPG. You can also get in touch with us through our website at reddirtrpg.com. In the meantime, make sure and subscribe to this podcast and leave a comment on your favorite podcatcher so others can find us. All right, I think that's everything I need to tell you. Right now, let's head back to Red Dirt D&D.
Dark Canyon gets its name from how deep the walls go. Floating down the Great Mother River, and at the very bottom of the canyon, sunlight does not quite reach there. As you travel, it's difficult to see signs of the ghost elves, even if you look for them. However, as you begin to descend down into the nooks and crannies of Dark Canyon, you start to feel it, that pinprick on the back of your neck, as you know there are eyes watching you.
This is what it feels like.
And I look over to Zodimus and I say, in Orc, you're feeling it too, aren't you?
Yeah, they're probably all around us. It's all right. Nice and easy.
Don't go for your weapons.
Hopefully Kotori convince them they can trust us.
Makrin has that duster robe with the hood, and he flips the hood up to cover himself just a little bit. Just doesn't like this nervous feeling.
We're on our horses still, right? I want to get off my horse and lead it, but I am going to take off my jacket and lay it over the saddle, and the only thing I have on me that looks like a weapon is the holster for the knife that is no longer in my possession.
I think that's a good plan.
And walk out like...
I'll do the same thing, get off and put all my weapons. I'll be just shirtless with my kilt and...
I mean, I've got all this warlock power and this pocket dimension storing a powerful bow and then these bracers with daggers, but as far as anyone can see...
And I will also store all my weapons and everything into the cart and be walking just next to my horse, which also has a hunting rifle in it, but hey...
As you start putting your weapons away, I think to myself that fight with the dervishes, and I'm like, yeah, you are a weapon, sir.
Mm-hmm. But you and I will lead as the cart is behind us. And Poppy, are you in the cart?
No.
Or
No, we and Wildfire will walk.
Kind of wishing at this moment I'd have ever heard Eopix whistle a tune or hum something. It would echo real nice through your end.
Right. As you continue, the feeling of being watched grows stronger. Until you get to a point where, if you were an enemy, it would be a great choke point.
Makrin's looking around. Probably not. With a modified, it's an 8.
I'm going to walk away from my horse, and I'll hand it off to Makrin, and just kind of go out in the open with hands up. Kotori. Maya Bill. I believe you have something that belongs to me. With a chuckle in Elvish.
A figure suddenly steps into view, stepping out of a dark shadow crevice. It's not Kotori, it's a female.
I will slightly acknowledge their presence, but not suddenly move.
Tilts her head. Kotori sent you?
Has Kotori made it back yet?
She narrows her eyes.
He didn't send us. We decided to come and told Kotori to let you know we were coming. So I'm going to watch her face as I say these words. Kotori was captured by the dwarves.
Give me a perception.
Okay. 3.
So that's one of the things that you're noticing about the ghost elves is that it's not just a stoicism as it's just a highly controlled, especially these ones that you've met that are warriors, like they have that white clay that obscures little micro facial expressions, and they seem to be very trained in just a...
But we're not phasing you.
Yeah,
Words aren't going to phase you.
Yeah,
well,
it's a stillness.
I'll follow that up with, because it's part of my answer to did Kotori send you, is Kotori was, I did ask, has Kotori made it back yet? And then I said, Kotori was captured by the dwarves, but I arranged for his release and asked him if I could meet with his people to discuss the conflict between you and the dwarves. Has he returned? That is important to me.
If he has returned to the quiver, I have not been told.
Very well.
And she and it's this very fluid motion where she slides down this embankment and walks up to you very closely. She looks you over. You've approached openly. You have not presented any threat. She shouts a couple of commands in this dialect of Elvish that it's close enough that you get the meaning, but it's different enough that there might still be a little bit of mistranslation. And she's calling for her companions. And again, at this choke point behind you, you see 2 other warriors pop up out of hiding with their bows trained on the party.
Okay. I'm going to put my hand up to my party, and then my other hand I'm going to say Gaz and motion him up here with us.
Yes, friend.
This is my friend Gaz. He was with us also when Kotor was released. He helped with the plan to thwart the dwarves and allow him to be freed.
Give me a persuasion, Zanos.
22.
She'll give a nod. I do not know you. I have heard of the orc.
She says she knows you.
Well, I am a friend to the Caliban.
Is a bill to the Caliban, to everything.
Caliban, Abil.
Yes. Abil, Micaiah, Casa.
She gives a nod and she says, I've heard them tell tales.
I see like a weight lifted off Sodomus. Okay.
I will take you. You will follow. You will follow blind. You will trust.
Of course. I expected this.
And she gives a whistle, and crawling very gecko-like out of the shadows is this very large lizard that can cling to the canyon walls, scurries over to her, and from a saddlebag, she pulls out these long strips of cloth. Shows you emotions, bringing it up to her own eyes. Basically, she wants you to blindfold yourselves.
Yeah. So I immediately do it. Join me, please, friends.
Oh, yeah.
Steaming whistles up. How am I supposed to end he's making motions to Buttercup in the cart and
hand the reins off. They will lead us.
Will you help with our beasts?
The other 2 guards, the bowstrings slacken, they put the arrows away, and they start to come forward, bringing forth their own riding lizards.
Steaming whistles.
So they can kind of take reins.
As I'm going to lift I'm looking around. Where's Konnor? As I blindfold myself, I think to myself, don't see him.
It's up to Konnor. Where does Konnor want to be?
Konnor. I'll be hiding in the cart.
So in that case, give me a stealth check.
Sodomus is actually having a crisis of conscience.
It's 15.
He wants to tell them
22 for perception.
He doesn't have to.
So you're like trying to scurry in, and then a hand just whoosh.
Let me go.
Kobold!
No, is it like?
Abel. He's Abel. Abil.
Yeah, a bill.
I've taught them the word for friend that I learned from myopics.
I see. Thundercrack, eh?
No. My name's Konnor.
She just like thumps her hand against your shoulder, like indicating your color. Kobolds.
Before I blindfolded myself, I would have, of course, put my sword, Gideon's sword, with Wildfire, and then whistled, sent him up into the cart to kind of ride in the cart. He's a dog. He doesn't need to be blindfolded. I will hold Desonimus's hand, though, because I don't want to fall into a gopher hole and, like, disappear.
They offer you a choice, Konnor. You can either blindfold yourself or you can be hogtied and blindfolded.
All right, blindfold me.
Okay. So they will blindfold you and then set you back down in the cart. These elves will lead you.
I'm not going to speak along the way unless spoken to, but I'm going to try to listen for like echoes, water, changes of movement, pay attention to the temperature in the air.
It gets cooler as you go, and you seem to be going on a slightly downward slope at first, but then it starts to go back up. And you can still feel some of the warmth of the sun. Like, it's not as intense, because it's obviously, you're farther down in the canyon where the direct sunlight doesn't hit, but it's still pretty warm. And they take you on this very serpentining, winding, wandering path. And you maybe think that they might even be intentionally doing like a couple of switchbacks just to really throw you off and get you a little disoriented.
I would.
Before you start to hear more sounds of life, more sounds of people, and it's curious chatter. When they do finally take the blindfold off your eyes, you get to see a sight that very few in the Callban have ever seen, and that is one of the hidden cities of the Ghost Elves. Deep into Dark Canyon, cut into the side of the canyon in such a way that there is this huge overhang, and it's that Pueblo style of architecture where it's cut into the wall. There's a lot of levels to it, so there's a lot of ladders, ways to get up and down and all over and around. So that's one of the reasons that they have developed this relationship with these giant riding lizards, because with the lizards, the lizards stick to the wall, so they can go all over the place. But they have brought you to this kind of ground floor meeting area, and it has that very much that whole, there's only so much of it that's quote unquote public space, and this is this big circular area at the very bottom of this canyon where you do actually see, sopping wet still, you probably swam a good portion of the way, Kotori, the female guard who had stopped you. As soon as she finishes her duties of untying you and taking up the blindfold, she actually moves over to him, and they clasp the back of one another's necks as their foreheads gently rest together. Gaz, this is actually something that's very familiar to you. This is a gesture of affection, a very close affection. She kind of ruffles through his hair a little bit, gives him a pat on the shoulder.
We have been unblindfolded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They've gotten you to the city, and now that you're here, you don't know the way, but you can see what's here.
Now that we're here too, they're making facial expressions. They're showing emotion.
A little bit, yeah. Now that
we're in their element.
Yeah, now that they're back in their element, you see a little more. There's a little more expressiveness, a little looser.
2 questions. The intimacy between those 2 elves, was it paternal, or was it friendly, romantic, or was it just like a...
Does Poppy even know?
Right, I would say it would be difficult for Poppy to know, because again, this is a very different culture, but from looking at them, there's no family resemblance between the 2, so you don't know if maybe it's like a mentor-mentee, or if maybe they're lovers, or...
Next question. Can I see the sky if I look straight up?
If you look straight up, no. You'd have to look kind of catty-cornered. You're not completely enclosed, but it's so, it's domed to a point where a lot of the harshness of the light doesn't...
It's all indirect.
Yeah.
Makrin, when unblindfolded, sees this cities and dwellings that are part of, yes, a canyon, but for all practical purposes, when you're at this level, it's a mountain. And he's by the forge. They live in the stone. And once again, I'm just making these connections that peoples have a whole lot more in common with each other.
With the dwarven architecture, they do tend to be like very dug in, forcing themselves upon the environment. Whereas the elves, it seems more like they kind of found this nook and just shaped it just a squeak, just enough, so that way, again, if you were up top, you wouldn't see this. Mm-hmm. You would see nothing. You have to be at just the right angle to see any of this. It's that difference of working with versus forcing yourself apart.
Hard angles, tight corners with the dwarven craftsmanship versus something that flows with the rock and uses the rock's natural shape.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep an eye on Kotori. I want him to see me. I'm sure he will.
Kotori sees you and does approach. I see Nova brought you.
When he approaches, I remember one time Iopix and I, when we met up, we did the barbarian hand to wrist. I want to extend my hand open like that. And will he do that with me?
Yeah, he'll grasp your hand.
Yes, she did. Thank you for the trust. I'm glad you made it here safe.
Thanks to you for freeing me.
That was pretty convincing.
I hoped I did not hurt you too bad.
Stings a little.
Let us go.
My dagger?
You see, out of the waistband with a flourish, but hands it to you.
I'm going to take it from him, and I'm now in their world with a weapon. And this was not agreed upon. I'm going to flick it around. I'm going to hold it by the handle, and I'm just la-di-da-di, waving my hands around. I'm going to point to Gaz and say, my friend over there asked me, how did you know he wouldn't slice your throat? You know what I told him? I didn't. I'm going to flick it around and catch it by the blade and give it back to him handle first. Keep that.
Give you a nod. You do see him, it's this very skilled, flipping it through the fingers and then simply sheathing it.
It's not a fancy bow that disappears, but I have given one of my weapons to one of Iopix's people.
So, you are now in the domain of the Ghost Elves. These two that you have made somewhat friends with, Kotori and Nova, the two of them lead you towards the edge of this ring, where you do see, striding forward, an older female ghost elf, dressed in... The fabric is very difficult to tell exactly what it is. It's a very fine, almost a silk, as she surveys what her warriors have brought her.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Mokran Stoneshaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, Konnor Shenold as Konnor the Kobold, and I'm Michael Cross as Gaz. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Monument Studios, Andrew Sitkov, and TabletopAudio.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure to rate us and leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and RedDirtDND.com. Tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D and share us on social media. And we have new content on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RedDirtDND. And check us out on our YouTube page. Just search for Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/RedDirtDND. We have several giving levels, including early listening to shows and access to our Discord server. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.
Of course he got loose. You saw him run away.
Shakespeare in the Park, this is not.
I was going to say, cut. What's your motivation here? I need to really... You need to crawl into the skin of another living being and convince me that you are afraid of Zonimus's life.
Oh no, how did this happen?
Oh no, whatever shall we do?
Like Willy Wonka, stop. Wait, come back.
Or, Debbie in the Addams Family Values. Help. Oh no, my husband. He was in that house. 24 hours. That's all you get.
That's all we need. Konnor, reach into your backpack and pull out that giant hourglass and flip it over.
And I use the healer's kit, but I'm not proficient. I just simply...
You just rub some salve on me.
And bandages.
Stops bleeding. Yeah. No,
So
no,
it
it
looked worse,
wasn't.
even
Put some
worse.
Crisco
Made
on
it
it.
sting more.
Yeah.
Shoved maggots in it and then packed it with dirt.
Nah, let's put some
Get the leeches!
We'll put some Crisco on it.
Little donkey urine and
Poppy, get me the iodine.
shove some roast beef in it and cover it with dirt.
Let's stop and eat.
I'm carrying a turkey leg.
Where did you?
I would really like that. And influence from other planes of existence.
Fancy.
Yeah, pretty neat.
And buildings.
And buildings.
Before we went to the mesa.
I didn't have this spell then. I only got the spell after we should.
Done a lot of things before.
Like not going to the maze.
Danger, Wolf Robinson. Danger, danger.
Danger.
I couldn't do that at the time. Gideon could have. I couldn't have done
Oh, really? Gonna kick a guy when he's down? Way down. Like dead.
Oh, too soon.
Dig a hole.
Michael, you're a great player. You just look over and see Poppy just laying down on the ground, making dirt angels. Like in Fern Gully when the trees are hurt.
Oh. I love that movie.
Fortunately, I was a minimum of 3 miles away.
Or right behind you.
I'm doing my best.
Proud of you.
He's 3 miles over top of you. Jackalope pops up. There's another one on our side. It immediately pops back into the underbrush.
One of these days, pow! Right in the kisser. I do know if they made it back to the canyon, then they are still here.
Makia and Keisha, right?
Micaiah and Keisha. And you two.
It's a K.O.
Micaiah Costa.
Casa.
It's Kasha.
Yeah.
Micaiah Costa and Sua Costa. See what you did there. Now you'll never forget.
That's my favorite thing. Do you think you have a great NPC name? It's all awesome, and then the kid, the PCs immediately make fun of it like middle school kids.
Oh, and while we were sitting here, I did boil some tea.
Kick it over. We got some just found elven tea in the cot.
Salty.
Wow.
You think that's salty? Zonimus is about to go behind a bush and leave a Trito.
Yikes.
Always leave it better than you found it. That's Druid 101.
That's a great Patreon break.
Yeah, that's what we're going to Patreon break.
I guess I have that commercial break then. You know what else they teach you in Druid 101? That's supporting your friends.
How to be a tree.
If you want to hear more of Poppy's wisdom, you should jump in our Discord for only $5.
Stretch up.
I like it.
The energy is
We're going to go into tree pose. Get the sole of your
Downward
foot
facing
flat.
tree.
One Grecian urn.
I am just shirtless. Not shirtless. I'm jacketless.
Oh, come on.
But okay, I'll unbutton it.
Zonimus, why'd you stop?
Just speak friend and enter.
I'm about to.
Melon.
Kobolds.
Kobolds. I can't even see what's going on. It's blindfold, shaking my head going, Kobolds.
I think we all did that. We had the exact same time with
You hear something very nasty said to you in Draconic.
The riding lizards perk up.
Yeah. The riding lizards get offended.
You kissed your mother with that mouth?
They lower their heads like a dog does when they know people are angry, but they're not sure why.
They offer you a choice, Konnor. You can either blindfold yourself or you can be hog-tied and blindfolded.
Do you want to be carried?
There's not a lot of dignity left in either of those answers.
It's the red dirt version of the Underdark. It's Minzo Baran's, y'all.
How long have you been saying that one?
5 minutes to say that.
I like the fact that The y'all is part of the city name.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
Enzo Brand's y'all.